Hello everyone, and today we're going to discuss the most interesting part of the new episode. Recently we saw the announcement of the new episode of the amazing Digital Circus, in which in addition to new locations, commercials, and everything else, we were shown a lot of new characters. I counted 8 new characters, and we're about to get started. Many of these characters we have already seen in one of the leaks from Gooseworx. The first one in our video is this blue character right here. Let's give each character a name to help us all navigate. I see that he's structurally similar to Bubble, so let's call him Bub. You can immediately see that this character has appeared in the place where Jax will be spending his time. This is sort of the McDonald's of the Digital Circus world, and I think he will be there long before Jax gets there. It's probably the administrator of this place, and remember how I said that Jax can't act so outrageous for a long time. Most likely Kane decided to teach him a lesson and sent Jax to this character. Bub, on the other hand, is a normal NPC that Kane realized. I think he will act the same way Jax did with the other characters. Most likely, he will make nasty jokes about the rabbit, mock him in any way possible, or give him a very boring and difficult job. And only after Jax realizes what his mistake was, will he be able to go back, and then this fictional McDonald's and our Bub will just disappear. Let's talk about this interesting character. Whether it's a crocodile or a dinosaur is still unclear. But I'm sure it's a dinosaur, in which case it's very easy to name him. Dino, of course. You can also immediately understand that Dino will be a member of the Candy Canyon Kingdom location, and Gooseworx themselves have confirmed that this character will be their favorite in the new episode. I'm sure he'll be the first one we see in Candy Canyon Kingdom. If we can say so, he will be our so-called guide in the new location. Looking at this location, we see a castle. However, on the spoiler where Dino was shown, we can only see a field, mountains, and sky. I think that once our characters get to Candy Kingdom, he will meet them and take them to the castle itself and explain to them what and how it is organized here and who they should listen to. I don't think he will be a villain, just a normal NPC who will appear for a few minutes, and of course his hat makes me excited. Before we move on to the main character of Candy Canyon Kingdom, I want to talk about a very interesting character who can already give us a big secret about the amazing Digital Circus. We all know what the mannequins in the Digital Circus tent look like. They are beige in color and generally look like normal mannequins, but in Candy Canyon Kingdom they look very different. You can see that they are blue in color and can go outside of their usual territory. You can see that he's very afraid of something, but I'll talk more about that in the next video. I think everyone is surprised by his color, and that's why I have a theory that this is not just a dummy. I would call him the boss of them all. I think he will play one of the key roles in the new episode, unlike all the previous characters. But then again, I don't think he's going to be some kind of villain. Most likely he will be a positive or neutral character just like Dino. Now it's time for our princess. If I had the right, I would call her Queen, but unfortunately she hasn't grown up to that level yet. I would call her Prin Peach because of her resemblance to Princess Peach from the Nintendo series. I really like her appearance. She's literally walking candy. Her eyes are candy, her body is cake, but her waffle crown is something I'd like to eat myself. And at first, she seems to be a very kind character, always willing to help. She reminds me a bit of Ragatha, and she's going to be one of the 2 main characters among the newcomers. But it's not that simple. I think she lives in the castle all the time, and rarely sees the previous 2 characters. When the characters we already know see her for the first time, I think they will be happy because they will think that now they are going to stay in this wonderful, sweet place. But after a while, the characters will realize that Prin Peach is not just the princess of this place, but she is literally as much artificial intelligence as Kane. I think the Digital Circus is just one of the locations in this amazing game. And just like Candy Canyon Kingdom is the area that our princess controls, and since they are parts of the same whole, the mechanics there are the same. So our characters' hope that Prin Peach will be a kind and gentle girl is nothing, and the horrors she can show them are no less than what Kane showed, maybe even more. Now it's time to talk about the biggest villain in Candy Canyon Kingdom. I don't even know how to describe this creature. Even though he looks really disgusting, he's made of chocolate, so let's call him the Choco King. Let's honor our old friend. I think he's going to be the revealed villain of the new episode. It's unlikely that such a creature could bring anything but fear and terror into our characters' lives, but agree that it would be very tasty to eat. I think this character will work in the same team as Prin Peach, and just like Glowing's Queen, will be created for a specific task. But I think if Glowing's Queen herself didn't want to do anything bad because she was practically immobile, this guy will be very fast because he's like a snake that can literally slither on the ground. I think he's going to be the main challenge for the characters we already know. They may have to destroy him, and then they can eat him as a reward. But it's important to note that judging from the way his eyes are feral, I could say that our characters will have to be as careful as possible because if one of them stumbles, the Choco King will not hesitate to eat them quickly, and unfortunately, some of the characters' lives will be over. It is important to note that we can see that his whole body is made of melted chocolate, which means that the temperature inside him will be quite high, which can also destroy our characters. In general, I can say that it will be much harder for them to deal with him than it was with Gloink's Queen, especially since Kaufmo will never come back to them. The creators of the project have officially announced it. We have just seen all the characters of one of the 2 new locations, and if the name of this kingdom we know exactly what the second location is, still a very big mystery. And about the characters who will live in this mystical house, let's call it that. Now and we'll go speech. I think the main character of this place will be Allie. If you're wondering why I gave her that name, you'll remember the leaked image of her and how much she looks like a classic alien. I'm pretty sure she's owned this house for centuries. Judging by the way she's dressed, I can safely say she died around the 18th, 19th centuries, which means she's been living in this mystical house for at least 125 years. And for some reason, I'm sure she's managed to build a huge number of traps and various puzzles that our characters will have to solve on their way to her. And in general, she looks like a very beautiful and attractive girl. Perhaps in her youth she was from a noble family and some thugs or bandits decided to rob her, and as a result she died at a very young age. Despite the fact that she is a ghost, I somehow think that she will be a positive character, unlike Prinpeach, and all the traps she sets serve only one purpose: to determine who really needs her and who is willing to do anything to meet her. By the way, that scene with Kinger happened after their meeting, not before, but later. And at the moment, only she and Prinpeach are real people, and all the others we told you about are just temporary NPCs. Now here comes the cutest creature I've ever seen, and it's this cute gopher named Goofy, who is our Allie's pet. Unfortunately, the fate of this cute gopher is as tragic as that of its owner. I think he'll make an occasional appearance in a new episode like Bubble, or maybe Allie created him so she wouldn't feel so sad and lonely. But trust me, she will not be lonely, at least not because of him. And now we're going to talk about the most mysterious character not only of the Mystic House, but of the whole new episode in general. Tapy, that's his name. And it's because of him that Allie has set so many traps. For a long time, Tapy has wanted to take over the house in order to carry out his evil plans. Since he is only a tape, he cannot move on his own. However, he has another power. He can create various creatures to help him. At the moment, however, Allie is very good at dealing with them herself. But who can stop Tapy from gathering all his powers and creating a very strong monster that can bypass all of Allie's traps and then take over the house? You might wonder how he manages to stay in the house for so long and why Allie doesn't just throw him out. Take a closer look at his eyes. They allow Tapy to make music. And what's wrong with that, you ask? It's because this music isn't what everyone else is listening to. Tapy's music does 2 things. 1, it drives Allie crazy, and 2, it's the music that creates new monsters. By the way, remember that fragment with Kinger where he's trying to kill somebody with a shotgun? And for some reason, I have a feeling that it was Tapy who was the toy he was beating. Well, now we've gotten to know each of the new characters. I hope you found this video informative and interesting. Don't forget the feedback and see you soon in new videos.